So good evening, everybody,
Yeah,
and welcome to episode 5 of Meet the Judge. And tonight I am joined all the way from Italy by renowned Chihuahua breeder, exhibitor, all breeds FCI judge, Signor Francesco Cochetti. Buonasera, Francesco. How are you? Can you hear me, Francesco?
thank you for Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, especially because nowadays we lost contacts with our friends. So the only way we have it is this
Yes.
via web, and this is in a way very nice. And so let's hope that this bad time will be soon over, and we can meet
Yes.
alive all together again.
And I think I have certainly been very interested, and a lot of people have. We've been following your posts, your regular posts as to the situation in Italy. And how is it now?
Well, Italy, I have to say that is at the moment the situation is very good. I think today we had only 170 new cases,
Mm.
and comparing with what it was in March, in April, we are really we pass the bad time, and we are going much better. So really few cases, but of course we still have rules, so we have to be really careful and to follow the rules. So we have to wear the mask, we have to keep the social distance,
Mm.
many rules, but okay, at least we can be outside,
Yes.
we can go around, we can move into the country, and it was not possible
Mm.
until for a long time. We have been quite long lockdown, so but I hope that we will be
Good.
even better
Good.
very soon.
And do you think dog shows will resume in Italy soon?
Well, we could start the dog shows, but our rules are quite strict.
Mm.
So it means that you have to keep, especially when you have indoor shows, because it's much you need much more space, much
Yes.
more place, and that you know that the indoor shows are quite expensive, especially
Mm.
if you are using third centers, which are really expensive. So
Yes.
until now, nobody started. Let's see what it will happen. I think that probably somebody will start after summer, probably in the beginning of autumn or something like that.
Mm.
But for now, no shows here.
Okay. Let's hope so. Okay. So when you started showing and breeding, what was your first breed, and what made you decide to show dogs?
Well, it was a fault of my parents because my father and mother were both involved in dogs,
Okay.
and they were. So I was born with poodles,
Mm-hmm.
and they were breeding. They started even before I was born, and so it was of course poodle because they were already at home before
Mm.
I born, and of course they have influenced me a lot during my judging
Mm.
career, and also as exhibitor, because I was following them since I was in really very young, a
Mm.
baby.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So poodles. And did you take a break from dog showing, or have you stayed all that time?
Well, no. I have been in the dog shows. I have been since I was born, and I have been until it was a little break. I have to say when my father died. My father died very young, so it was in 92, and and that it was also the time that my mother didn't want to continue to breed herself alone,
Yes.
so she decided to stop. But it was really 3 4 years, because then I know even less, because I met my wife, so it was easy to go back to the dog world. I
Yes.
mean. Okay, I have started also to judge, because I became judge in 1992, the same years that my father died. So I was less showing myself dogs,
Yes.
but more concentrated in my studies for becoming a judge.
Okay. And I know that yourself and Tula have a passion for horses. And is there a particular element of the horse sports that you particularly enjoy?
Well, the person that is after horses is my daughter Sophia, the oldest
Okay.
daughter. So she started when she was very young, and she did really in very professional way the show jumping.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, we were following her during her competitions, and of course, she was really preparing herself a lot for competition. So, okay, and of course, I have to say that horse is a beautiful animal. So when you start to be in contact with horses, then you realize that they have something like humans.
Mm.
Okay, animals are better than humans, I have to say, but horse is a really nice animal
Mm. There, yeah.
to
There,
be
yeah.
with.
And it is amazing, and I said this last week. It is amazing how many dog people and dog breeders that is their second passion is horses. If they were to do something else other than dogs, it would be horses. It is amazing. It must be
Yes, it's true,
absolutely.
and I think it is also something similar, because also I think horse is the expression of the beauty. So
Mm.
it's kind of something really related with dog shows, or
Yes.
it is, I think, quite normal that if you like dog shows, then you like also to see the
Mm.
beauty in the horses, and they have a lot of personality also,
Yes.
and this is something special they have.
Mm. Mm. And tell me, what is your highlight of your showing career, yeah, as an exhibitor? Can you hear me?
No, yeah, not now, yes, but I
Okay.
didn't hear you for a
Okay.
while.
I was just saying, what is the highlight of your showing career as an exhibitor?
Yeah, well, I have to say honestly that I have never been a good handler in my life. Okay, I have tried to do my best, because it was even fun to handle dog, but I'm not really so talented handler. But I have done quite well. And if I have to talk about myself, when I was handling dog, I have also won best in show with the Chihuahua long coat. And it was many years ago, of course, and it was in Italy, and Carla Molinari was judging the best in show, so it was a great pleasure to win under a so good judge. But if I talk about my breeding, we had really a lot of success, and I think one of the most beautiful win we had, it was my daughter that was showing Orlandino di San Gimignano, and he won the group at the European Dog Show in Brussels. Wow. So that it was a great result.
That's a great achievement as a breeder.
Yes, exactly. Then, okay, we won several best in show, and it has been a really nice time, and still, of course, still our breeding are going around with their owners, and every now and then also my daughter is showing dogs, so it's but I do really very seldom now, because I'm much more in judging myself, and then I feel not so comfortable as an exhibitor now in the ring. So I prefer my daughter. This is her job.
Okay. And speaking of judging, when was your first championship show appointment?
Well, I think it was in 1993. And I did poodles, because it was my first breed, and the show was in Sanremo, and I remember I got almost 100 entries, which was a very good entry. So it was many years ago, and of course I started to judge my own breed.
And you would have had to do exams before that, yes?
Sorry?
You would have had to do exams to judge that breed, yes?
Of course. Yeah. We have here in Italy. You don't get anything for free. So if you have to do exam for each breed if you want to be allowed to judge the breed. So it is quite long procedure, because you do first the theoretical part, and then you have to practice, and then you do the last exam, which is the practical exam, but it's quite long procedure.
Okay. And when did you achieve all breed status?
It was in 2013. So it was 21 years after I started with my judging. And it was a little bit, some months before I was 50. Okay. So I think it is the right moment, because you are not old, and this is the right moment, I think, that you really enjoy then this status, because I think, okay, sometimes we see in some countries that there are colleagues that are becoming around very young, and I think that I don't really think that this is correct, because you need experience, you need to practice. Even when you get new breeds, you need to practice with new breeds, but also to be an all-rounder judge when you are too old, I don't think is so good idea. You need to have your fresh mind, and you need your good physical conditions. So it's between 40 and 50, I think, is the best time to be an all-rounder.
Yeah, that is similar here now, in Ireland.
Yes.
You're about that age before you gain that status. It used to be a lot longer.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think that's the
Yeah.
correct sort of time,
Yeah.
for people. And how many countries have you judged in now?
Well, I have never counted, but I think more than 50 countries.
Wow.
And I have judged for sure in all continents. That I'm sure, because I did really, I think close to 60 countries, but I should write country by country, and for sure I could forget something, but in many, many countries.
Okay. Okay. And out of all of those countries, do you have a favorite one?
Well, it is a difficult question to answer, because it depends because sometimes what we do some stupid things as judges, because we see airports, then we see the hotel, and we see the showground. Not always we have the time to go a bit around and see what is around us. I mean, so of course when I go far, I mean out of Europe, then I usually stay a couple of days more, and I have time to go a bit around and to see things, to see cities, and but okay, I have I have to say that probably also the favorite countries influenced by how you stay there. I mean, if you find good hospitality, good people, then you can say that it's not only that is more probably is the why you say that this is my favorite country. But I have been in many countries that I really like it, and of course I have to say that if we talk about hospitality, probably Asia has one of the best hospitality in the world, all the Asian countries.
Yeah.
And I like to be there, I have to be honest. But in the other hand, I think Europe has the most the best quality in the world. So it's nice to judge around Europe, especially in countries like in the north countries like Scandinavian, in many countries where you can find quantity and quality of dogs. So it's I don't think I have a really favorite country. I appreciate many countries, and I like something in one side from some country, and something else in the other side from other countries. So it's very difficult to answer.
I think you make a very good point as well, that I think a lot of people who think of us as all-rounders think we lead a very glamorous life, flying all over the world to different countries, but it is very usually from the airports to the hotel to show to hotel. So you don't get to see very much except the hotel. So it's not as glamorous.
Exactly, and people should also, it's nice to go around, it's nice to travel, it's nice to meet people, but it's quite heavy, because we can stay in the ring 6-7 hours, and we have to use the brain, we have to be concentrate for so many hours. We have to judge the first dog in the same way we have to judge the last dog in the same way we have judged the first dog.
Very true.
This is also very, very important. And what we get? Nothing. Judging fee is €50, so it's just to pay our laundry to wash our clothes. So it's only passion. We do this because of passion for dogs. This is the reason.
Yeah. And aside from Chihuahuas or Poodles, do you have a favorite breed to judge?
Yes, I am. I like many breeds. I like a lot of breeds, and okay, I like also English pointers that we have at home. I like many breeds. I like terriers a lot. I have bred. Okay, we have bred together with my wife also Jack Russell Terrier. We still breeding, not in a big scale, but some litter every now and then, 1 liter every now and then. I like American Cockers a lot. This is another breed that I really like. Yeah, and I like Boxer, which is another breed that I love. I love many breeds, so I'm not the kind of person that is looking only for a poodle or for Chihuahua. I like also to know different personality, because each breed have its own personality, and they have their specific way to behave, and that is also like humans. So we have. I like to have contact with different breeds. But okay, if I have to be honest, I feel myself much more comfortable when I'm judging toys and terriers. I think these are the two groups that are more close to me, because probably I have grown with this kind of dogs, so I feel much more comfortable to judge these breeds. But to judge some breeds that you have not this deep knowledge, or it's also a challenge. So it's I like also to change and to judge different breeds.
And is there a breed you dislike judging?
Well, I don't think I dislike some breed to judge. If I have to be honest, maybe sometimes, because when you judge in America, or you judge because I have to say that some of the South American countries, even if they are under FCI, many of them have the influence from America. So you can find a bit different type in some breeds, and this is very, in a way, difficult, because you have to switch your brain, and you have to think in totally different way. And the kind of in this situation is not easy. There are not so many breeds that are different from our European type or our FCI standard, but some of them they are, and so to fix and to go and to think in different way is quite difficult.
Yes, particularly gun dogs can be difficult.
Yes, exactly. Particularly golden retriever. And if I have to say something else, even for me, boxer, because if you see the American boxer and European boxer, there are two totally different breeds. And then there are other breeds, or even Doberman, but for sure, and Springer Spaniel. English Springer Spaniel. Then you have a totally different breed, which is for me the American Springer Spaniel. Should be, I don't know, because we should have in that case of Springer Spaniel, for me they are totally different.
Yes,
two different breeds. So we should have separated or call the other one in different way.
I agree with you. And what fault in a dog really irritates you?
Well, for me, as a breeder, because when you are judging, you are also and you are a breeder. I think your mind is get a really much influence from the breeding side. So I hate unsound dogs. For me, soundness is a must. Is a must.
Yeah.
So when I see unsound dogs, I really hate. And I find now in these last years, a common fault is unbalanced dogs. So you can see more often dogs who have not balance between front and rear angulation. You can see a lot of straight front and over-angulated rears in many breeds. And so they catch your eyes, they are eye catchers, but full of faults. And sometimes, as judges, we should be much more severe and critical on them and give a low price because of this fault.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree with you. Best dog you've ever judged? Do you have one?
Well, I have judged a lot of beautiful dogs. Probably because it was my first time that I was judging in America. It was many years ago. I did a beautiful show there. It was Palm Springs, and I did standard poodles, and I had. If I think I have my skin coming up because I had so big entry, and it was there this Brighton Mini Moto, which was a beautiful beach, and I really, if I think when I put the hands on her and when I see her, it was like she did my day in that moment, and this courage, this poodle attitude that she had was was a dream come true. So if I have to think, that was probably one of my eye catcher and my strong feeling for a beautiful dog. And then, of course, I have judged many others, and but yeah, it was probably it came in my mind this Brighton Mini Moto, this beach that really pleased me so much.
It's an amazing feeling when that happens, when a dog like that walks into your room.
Well, you know, sometimes when you are going to judge and then you have 80, 85, 90 dogs, but if you find 1, 2, or 3 that they are really gorgeous one, that is enough to be pleased. So I think, but it is not so easy to see this outstanding, I mean over the line dogs nowadays, unfortunately, but every now and then it happens, and this is the reason because I like to go to judge, to discover something new and to find a beautiful one.
And is there a dog that you would have loved to have judged but never got to?
Yes, I think it is. Because if you remember, I talked about American Cocker, and I really have the dream to put my hands on very VG Vamos a la Playa, which I have seen in picture, which I have seen on video. But as I said to you, American Cocker is a little bit my dream in my life. I really like this breed a lot, and so this is probably the dog that I would have liked to touch.
He was stunning. He was a beautiful dog.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Laurent Pichard has bred many stunning dogs. So chapeau to him
Oh,
for as a
absolutely.
breeder and as a judge.
He's a genius.
Yes.
And what's your biggest judging achievement to date?
Well, it is probably my invitation at Crafts in 2023. Okay, I didn't judge it yet. I hope to be in good condition, in good health. But I think it is when I got this letter, and it was very strange because you know the English send they send by letter, normal letter,
Yes.
not by any email. I was reading, I think, 10 times because I couldn't believe to my eyes when I was asking to judge long coat Chihuahuas. And of course, I did. Of course, I think then I have done a lot of good shows, and I was pleased also to judge Best in Show at the Melbourne Royal Show. It was a great honor for me. Of course, when I'm invited in big shows or in at World Dog Show, European Show, it's a really big honor. But crafts is something special, I think.
And to judge your own
So
breed.
let's see. Let's hope.
And to judge Chihuahuas.
Yes, exactly. My own breed, yes. And honor, because you know, I have to say that I have been there at crafts since I was a child. I was going at crafts with my parents. Well, at the moment, I was much more after poodles and after poodles ring, but then I started with Chihuahua to look more at Chihuahuas since 25 years. And I have to say that all the time I have never seen some foreigner judge Chihuahuas there. So all the time I have seen breeders, English breeders judging. So I think it is a big
Great
honor.
honor.
Yeah.
So, what's your most embarrassing or funny moment when judging?
Well, I think maybe embarrassing I had one because it was many years ago. I was judging poodles and I was in Sweden and bending over to check the poodles. My back got stuck. So I really couldn't, but it was a pain that I can't describe. I was almost losing sense, and so I have to go to. I went back little by little to the judges' table. And I was, I think, totally white in my face but luckily, the ring near me, it was judging Annika Ultveitmo. And she seen my face, and I said to her, "Okay, I'm totally. My back is got stuck." And she said, "Yes, I know, but I have in my bag patch from China that you put on the back." So she gave this patch to me. So I had to leave the ring for 10 minutes and say, "Sorry, I have to go out 10 minutes." But this patch saved my day because I immediately have benefit from it. And but it was really embarrassing because I think exhibitor understood very well what was going on.
Oh.
But okay.
Yeah, good.
Shit happens. The English say.
So when you started judging and showing, who most inspired you?
Well, okay, as I said, probably showing, it was because of my parents.
Yes.
They were carrying me and my sister. We were really very young. I think we started to go on show since we were 3 years, 4 years, or something like that. And we were at that time. It was not common to go to the show, to the shows the day before. But we were driving. They were driving us during the night with the dogs. So I remember we were sleeping in the car, in the back seat in the car all the night with my sister. So they were for sure the ones who influenced me for showing. But as a judging, I had Tina Violi Gussoni, who was the chairman of the Toy Dog Club. And I started to be her ring steward since I was probably 12 or 13 years old. So I was growing with her, and she was the one to push me to start to be a judge. Of course, also my father, but with my father, father and son, they can have much more problems sometimes, because we were quite strong in temperament. It was not easy to agree all the time. But I was a bit afraid of this lady, this Tina Gussoni, who had a really strong temperament, but she had a really, really deep knowledge, and she gave to me a lot. I have to say that I have to say all the time thank you to her if I'm here as a judge, because it is because of her.
Yeah. Okay. And as an FCI all breeds judge, as you said earlier, we can when we go to shows, we can get a lot of dogs to judge, and mainly with critiques. So when you have an inexperienced exhibitor or an inexperienced dog, how do you approach that?
Well, I think that we have, because I always say to myself and to my colleagues that we are also the ones that must guarantee a future for in the dog world. So of course we have to call and to be nice with people that are unexperienced, because nobody knows everything since they start. Even if nowadays many of them they think to know everything, but in normal situation, I think new people that have passion, we must spend time with them. So I have no problem when I see people that have the feeling that they want really to learn, and they are able, and they are not full of themselves. I will spend a lot of time with this kind of people, because they deserve it. And it is also nice to be, as you say, a mentor for them, because all of us had his own mentor. So we have to be mentor now for new generation. But it is not always easy, because time changed, and people change nowadays. Unfortunately, some young people, it's a bit full of themselves. So it is not easy all the time to find really people that want to learn and want to listen. They know everything, they don't listen.
Yeah, that is the same everywhere.
Yeah, and unfortunately.
You mentioned earlier about breeds in the USA and South America. When you're judging these sort of breeds, which do have a different standard to FCI, how do you convert that?
Yeah, well, of course, because if we are judging in a country, of course, affiliate to the FCI, but that has its own standard, we are obliged to read and to study the standard of this country. But even for me, because I always have said in so many years, I don't understand why we must have different standards for the same breed, which would be so much easy if the standard to follow in all the world is the one of the country of the
Yeah.
origin of that breed. So it is not easy. For example, I already nominated this breed to judge golden retriever,
Yeah.
which is an English breed, but to judge this breed in America. Even if I always say that you can find also there some really good golden retriever, and this is for this reason I really believe that we should have only one standard, because for me really the quality has not a nationality. So if you really find a good dog in that breed, you can find a really good dog in a golden retriever that is also good for us, even in America. So I think it could be much easier. We follow the standard of the origin, all of us, America, Australia, England, and FCI countries. We should follow one standard.
Absolutely.
And the country of the origin is deciding about it, because they have the right to decide about their own breed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you started judging, what was the best piece of advice that was given to you?
Yeah, well, I remember that my mentor, Tina Violi, said all the time to me, when you are not sure, be fast to choose, because do your own mistakes in fast way, so nobody will understand, and you will not show to be unsure to everybody. And this is, I think, a good advice.
Yeah, that is so true. And is that the advice that you would give aspiring judges, or what would you say to people who are just starting off?
Yeah. I think it's very important when you start to listen, to be humble, never put your nose up, because I think all of us, we can still learn. And for me, who is coming, who wants to be a judge must really study a lot, and go around, do ring stewards, which is a very good way to learn, especially when you are writing critiques, because then if the judge is saying some faults, you should use also your eyes and see what is writing, what is saying. So this is the way to learn. I learn in this way, and I think it was a good way to learn.
Yeah, that's very good. And as somebody who's involved with the Rome Kennel Club, and how do you think we should encourage young people to stay in our sport or come into our sport? Because they've all so many distractions these days.
Well, I think yes, but the problem is that it is not so easy to collect these young people. And most of the times I already said it, because they are approaching us not in a good way, in the way they want to learn. And but of course we need people that is interesting in also to be in the committees, because we need people that work, and you know, this when you do things relating with dogs, there is not any you don't earn any money, so it is only the passion. Even when we are breeding, when we are judging, when we are working for a show, as a show committee, as a show organizer, if you don't have this passion, is it impossible? This is passion. Passion is number one for being in this dog world. Passion and love for dogs. These are the two essential ingredients that we need to have in our people, I think.
And you mentioned earlier critiquing. How do you approach critiquing when you're doing them, and do you see them as being of value?
Yes, I see. Yes, even if you don't, of course, critiques must be really done in a way that when you are reading the critique, you understand immediately what is in front of you, even if you don't see the dog, but you are listening. You must understand that, which is the breed, and what are the faults and the good points of the dogs that is in imaginary in front of you. So I think the critique has to be done in a way that you, as a judges, we have to give to the breeder our contribute. So we should really be clear when we are writing a critique, and try to show to say to them, because it is not always possible to talk with everybody. It is even not allowed to talk with exhibitors because of our FCI rules. But you should give to them a value, something that, and you can do in writing in good way the critiques, describing good and bad. So this is
yes,
very
that's important.
When you write the critique like a copy for all 100 dogs, then it's better don't write anything. Just cross the price and the place, and that's it. But if we want to write a critique, then we must do in good way.
And champion quality. Do you like champion quality, and do you think more countries should have it?
I like Scandinavian. This is Scandinavian system, which I really like. Well, you know that I think I got the influence from Scandinavia, and also because, okay, as you know, my wife is Finnish, and I have been really in the beginning of my judging career a lot there to judge. And I like this CK, which is giving already, and also because you know, it gives a lot the possibility then to do a first cut, and then also you can give this excellent without this CK. So it is a system that I really like, and also Yes, I really like it. I have to be. I have always said that I like the system. I think we should be used for all of us.
I agree. I agree. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Um,
Yeah.
um, for judges who are critiquing for the very first time when they're going away, because not everybody does critiquing like here in Ireland. So, what advice would you give
I
people
know.
who are critiquing?
Always I say that you have to start from the head to describe the head, and you have to finish to the movement, or I mean to the tail.
Yeah.
When you write a critique, you must have an order. You can write a good head and then a good group. You have to go region by region and describe in order the dog, and you have to write good and bad points, as
Yes.
I already said to you. Because has to have a logical also, not only a sense. Otherwise, there is no reason to write a critique.
And particularly, I think if you're going to give a very good or a good, it is most important to say why.
Exactly. And when you read the critiques, the critique, then you have to find exactly the price that is the mirror
Yes.
of the critique. So of course, if you have, so it's very good what you said. All the time. So why sometimes you read good this, good that, good that, good that, and then very good.
Yes.
It is really has not any sense to do something like that. So critics must be in according with price and must describe the dog in a logical way, in order, region by region, starting with mouth or with age, and then going down, or you can start with movement, but has to have a logic. And it's important what you said, that then if you describe some faults, you must also see the faults in the price you have given to the dog.
Yeah. And as a breeder and a judge, do you think judges understand how important a role they have in influencing the development of breeds?
Yes and no, to be honest. Well, I have to be honest. This is a bit embarrassing, breeder, so I think my colleagues will understand me. For me, if you are a breeder, or if you have bred before to judge, then you can understand that much better. If you are not a breeder, it is much more complicated.
Yes.
Sorry to say, for me, I always said that to judge dogs is the second step. If we are dog people, we have to start first to be a breeder, because we can't forget that even if there are not breeders, there are also not judges. So if we are in rings every single weekend, it is because of the breeders. So chapeau, respect to the breeders. So they are the main part of our hobby. They are the main part, breeders and of course dogs.
Yes.
And we are in the second line. So to understand really this, you understand much better if you also have bred or if you are breeding.
Well said. Well said. And also, as a breeder and a judge, how do you think we can protect our sport from the pressure we're under from governments and other outside influences, and particularly as somebody who has bred and exhibited Chihuahuas, which were one of the breeds that were that probably still is being targeted.
Mm. Well, if we talk nowadays, we know, because okay, I don't want now to go inside because it is not a nice thing to say, but it is unfortunately nowadays our sport is living not the best moment, because we are really under the light of this crazy animal activist, and we all know, we have seen what is happening in Holland.
Yes.
And this is why, because we should be all together. We should stay together. Dog world is a big family, and why to hate each other if we have the same goal to breed a beautiful dog? So this is what is happening, because everybody is thinking it's selfish. They are not thinking about dogs, and which is the main reason, because we are here. There are not our instruments. They are the main part of this hobby, and not they don't have to we don't have to use them to cover our frustration, because we are frustrated. So this is the problem: to stay together, to work together, to think that what is happening now in Holland can happen in all over the world, from one day to another day. And
Absolutely.
and there are breeders that have worked so much, years and years and years, in these 12 breeds that they are banned in the Netherlands. We should think about it. But why this happen? Because we are not the big family that we should be.
Bravo. Well said. I could not agree with you more. You are so right. We need to stick together as a world of dog show people.
Exactly.
And it is going to be difficult.
It is, because this is, one can start, but then can follow many others. And if they found us as a big family, we are strong, many, all together, we can win this battle. But no, nobody is caring, and you see, and there are involved breeders, even in this country, that have done a lot for their own breeds. They have put up their breed. They have given a big contribute.
Yeah.
So this is we should a little bit think more about our goal.
We are as kennel clubs. We are
here for our dog. Exactly.
Okay. And as somebody who is heavily involved in clubs and show societies, and you're president of the Rome Kennel Club, how important do you think it is that we give something back to our sport? And do you feel enough people are putting themselves forward for positions on committees or to help at shows?
Well, I think that, of course, we need people that are working in the other side for doing dog shows, and of course in the kennel club. Our kennel club also should be our house. You understand? Kennel club is owned by the breeders.
Yeah.
I have to say, in this moment, Italy, we are very lucky because we have a great chairman in our kennel club. It is for sure the best president we ever had since I remember the president. And this is a person that is really working hard, and especially he works hard for breeders. He's defending breeders. He's talking, for example, with these animal activists all the time. He's inviting them to our shows. He's starting to talk and to explain to them why this breed is done, why there is a standard, what is the standard, why this breed is like it is. What is the work that the breeders do and the judges do, because we should not forget that even there are many years that we are working for the health of the breed.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that there are people in the dog societies that are working correctly, that they are trying to build together with breeders something good for our sport. Without them, there is nothing. There will be nothing because
You're right. Yeah.
because they are very important.
So, as a very popular judge and exhibitor, how are you coping with no dog shows? Are you missing them, or are you enjoying life at home?
Well, I have to say that in the beginning it was scaring me. I remember my last show was in Tallinn. I was judging in February, and but then it already this drama, which is not a drama, this pandemic, this COVID started to go around, and I was so afraid because I should have judged in the beginning of March in Japan, but I didn't feel it, and because it started here, it started around, and I said, okay, I was really talking with my heart to the chairman of the club. I said, listen, I don't feel to come, but he understood immediately, and he said to me, I understand it very well. And of course, it was the starting, and first weeks at home, I was thinking a lot, but then it's like, let me use this word, drug. We are addicted. So we can do things for dogs like we are doing now. We are talking about dogs. We can follow webinars. We can have a chat with friends. Of course, I like to judge a lot. I like to show. I miss dog shows, but it's not our priority. Is our families, our people that we love, that must be well around us, and priority is our life. So dog shows come after. And so I'm waiting in positive way, in a good way, I want to go back, but I can live also without show.
Yeah.
I can live for sure.
Well, Francesco, it has been brilliant and very, very informative and fascinating talking to you. I want to thank you for taking the time out to join me.
Yeah, thank you very much, especially for your patient, because of course English is not my mother language, so it is not easy like us. I have to talk in Italian. It is much easier for me, but thank you for taking time to ask question, and it has been, I think it's 1 hour. I see the time that we are together. It has been a very fast 1 hour. So let's hope to see each other soon. And thank you again.
And can I tell you, your English is much better than my Italian.
Okay. Thank you, but okay. Then.
So on that note, everybody, we're going to finish there. Next week, I'm returning to home ground, and my guest next week will be FCI all-rounder Mr. Paul Lawless of Revlock Belgian Shepherd Dogs. So same time next week. And once again, thank you very much, Francesco, and have a good evening. And love to Tula.
You too. Thank you, Carl. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.